when I come back to Singapore, eventually if I hear someone say they're a movement artist, I'm gonna think you converted this person.
No, 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 Winston, don't say that.
Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of the A.I.R podcast, where we live and breathe creativity for us to share to everyone and impact the world positively. So today I have a special guest all the way from Singapore. We have Joern. How are you today?
Hello, I'm alright. It's really hot, but still adjusting to the weather.
Okay, yeah. So a bit of background on Joern. We met at Falmouth University. She did a dance degree where I did post production. She is now a movement artist, done a lot of works not only from dance performances, exhibitions, and a really big mixture of collaborative works. And I'd like to showcase all that works to you right now.
Working with someone in a different field as you. I think that was my biggest takeaway.
So yeah, honestly, I think all the stuff you have done is really cool. It's very different from what I used to. So yeah, let me give the spotlight to Joan and introduce a bit about yourself formally. So yeah, Joan.
Hi, so I'm Joern. I am a movement artist right now that's based in Singapore. So a movement artist to me is basically someone that uses movement as my medium to create my art. So the difference between movement artists and dance is whereby I feel that dance becomes very exclusive when people hear the term like, oh, I'm a dancer and I do dance, and it becomes sort of a privilege or uh, some idea of exclusiveness comes from that. And I don't want people to think that way because I feel that, there is art and there is dance and everything. Like you walking to the bus stop, there is a rhythmic pattern in the way your body moves and register what is happening around you, and therefore it feeds into your body. So, and that to me, walking can be a dance as well. So, because I don't want to create this idea of exclusiveness to the wider community, I started using the term movement artist instead of a dancer. And in being a movement artist, I, of course, dance is my medium in creating artworks. So I teach movement, I teach dance, I teach movement to kids and adults. And I've been doing that for 5 years now. So I was doing that for 3 years, and then I came to Falmouth for 2 years, and then now I'm back in Singapore, and then I'm back teaching. And I choreograph works. I perform in my own works sometimes, and also I perform in other people's works. And then I also really, really love collaborating with different artists.
So this is a bit of background for season one. Normally, most people on the guests I would have collaborated with, but I felt like this is such an interesting medium of art that I've never touched before. Even though the most I would have done would be a music video with dancers. So I think movement artist was something that you got me very interested and curious about because it's something very unique to say. It's not a term that most people would listen to. And I think you kind of like showcase how cool it can be. And now I feel very conscious when I listen to music while walking when I subconsciously bob my head around
Yeah,
as
right.
a form of pattern. Yeah. But would you say like being that example, the movement artist is like a big umbrella term, whereas dance kinda can be a subcategory of it.
Precisely. That's how I see it. I see it as movement artists as a big,
Mm.
big umbrella, and then
Yeah.
a dancer would be. Yeah.
Like, you kind of got me thinking a lot more about it because I don't know. Growing up in Singapore, I used to grow up in Singapore as well. Like, I always see people do Tai Chi or like they do like some form of meditation with nature around them. I guess you can count that as movement artist. Is that something you also say is part of
Yeah,
it?
yeah, artist as well. As long as you are moving, like we move for survival, right?
Yeah.
We have to, move, and um in that way you are a movement artist of your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you give yourself the chance to. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. Like, what got you into this kind of like field of creativity?
Um, I'm gonna share just a little bit of context of how I got into dance.
Yeah.
First, because I think that is crucial as to
Yeah.
how it develops. So I have been dancing, or have been, a dancer or movement artist. No, wait, hold on. I have been dancing for 17 years now. So I started when I was like 6, 7. And then, the general thing, right? Like your Asian parent will put you into, like, enrichment classes. So my enrichment class was ballet on top of all my other tuition. Um,
Yes.
yeah, right. So then I went for ballet classes, and then at 9 years old, I was like, I want to be a dance teacher. Like I want to be a ballet teacher because I had such a lovely and inspiring ballet teacher. Her name is Miss Sulan De Villers, and she's now based in Colorado. So shout out to you if you're listening to this. Yeah. So 9 years old, I wanted to be a ballet dancer, and then, finish PSLE. And I was like, okay, maybe I can look into going to SOTA. But then also, then there's this fear, right, of it being unconventional approach into career. And then I went on to do my O levels. So went on to do my O levels, and then at sec 3, sec 4, so like 13, 14, I was like, okay, you know what? Like 2 years into the secondary school education, what I look for most when I go to school, what my ikigai is my CCA, my dance CCA every Wednesday and Friday, 3:30 to 6 p.m. I remember this, right? So um I was like, okay, I am going to go to LaSalle. Like I made a decision. I was like, okay, I'm going to LaSalle. And then I started to formulate or plan my CV when I was 15. Yeah.
That's
When I was
crazy.
15. Yeah. And then spoke to my parents, right, my family, about like my dreams, my aspirations, and I also did like research on, what are the career possibilities that can lead you after your dance diploma. So that is a whole other thing that maybe you as an audience, if you're interested to go into the dance realm, you can go and Google, because yeah, it's not just like, oh, you go and study dancing, you're just like a dancer, right? There is also a lot of other things. There is you can be a movement therapist. So that's the health side, working with people with Parkinson's disease. And then there's also like the education side, so teaching, right? And then there is also the performing arts side, which is making work, choreographing. So yeah, there is a lot of this, but these are just bigger umbrellas which I am pointing out. But yeah, you can do your own research. So yeah, so I went to LaSalle, and then after that did my dance diploma for 3 years, and then went on to teaching for 2 years after that, 2 3 years after that. And then it got me thinking, right? So whenever people ask me, so Joern, like, what do you do? Like, what is your job? And then I started off by telling people that I'm a dancer, or I'm a dance teacher. And then their first the first thought that come into their head, and then the first thing that they say to me, it will be, wow, you can dance, so you must be like really, really talented, or like, um, you know. So
Yeah.
there's this idea, right, of dance become something only very exclusive to different to a umbrella of people.
Mm.
And then they ask me like, oh, so as a dancer, like, do you only dance? Then it brought me to think, what does dancing then encompass? Like, dance is an art form, right? But if we unpack dance as an art form into a more layman term, or in its finest form, it is movement. It is movement that is being curated, it's being designed, it's being choreographed, um, in a creative way, right? So then, therefore, after like inside thoughts, I started to then associate myself with a movement artist instead of being a dancer. I know it's a long way to say.
That's
but-
crazy. That's honestly a really good, like, insightful answer that I don't think many people realize how it works as well. Yeah. I like to point out to anyone watching, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we'll try our best to get all those answers for you. Yeah. So obviously you've like gone through a really long journey of like discovering dance, developing to become a movement artist. Was that something that kind of you knew you were gonna go into this field, but when you developed and understood the idea of movement artist, was that something when you how do you discover that idea, and how do you like kind of move towards that? Cause I don't. I'll be honest. Like I don't think many people like think movement artists when they started out, right? And it's like something you kind of had to discover.
Correct. So, as I mentioned,
Yeah.
it came from
Yeah.
conversations that I have with people,
Okay.
and then also questioning, what is dance? Like, it's like, okay, we know as dance is a way of expression. Dance is moving your body.
Yeah.
Dance is a way to distress, things like that, right? Dance is
Yeah.
um, a somatic experience, a somatic field. But when I started to pinpoint what can be dance, then I realized that actually everyone is a dancer, because everyone, you are moving, right? You are walking to the bus stop, and then when you are at the bus stop, you are like tapping your feet in with like the AirPods in your ear. It opens up a whole new lens as to like what dance can be, and not just it being for an exclusive group of people. And then therefore I I started using the term movement artist. And then I think the third transition as to using the label dancer to movement artist was because when I say that I'm a dancer previously, the ideas associating around dance to a layman would be like, oh, so you are a performer, you are a dancer, so you perform, and that's mainly like what you do. But no, that is not all that I do, and I can't be like, no. you know so I just explain to them. Also, I also teach, and I create works, and I perform as well. So there's also other things that relate to being a dancer. And then it became like, um it became in a way whereby like I have to add on to like say, oh yes, I'm a dancer, but I also do this and this and this. Then I then thought, okay, then maybe I will use the word movement artist.
Mm-hmm.
As an artist, I use movement as my medium to create art, to respond to things, and to express my feelings. So that's how I landed that movement artist. Yeah.
Was it a like hard thing to like always try and explain movement artists to a lot of people? Because I feel when I come back to Singapore, eventually if I hear someone say they're movement artist, I'm gonna think you converted this person.
No, Winston, don't say that. There are
Uh,
already quite a number, quite a handful of people that are actually using the term movement artist.
Yeah.
Like I've got friends that are using the term independent people. Yeah, and yeah. So it's not like oh, I'm the first person. No.
Yeah. It's a very unique term, I think, when I first like heard it. Which is why I was like, this is interesting. But I love the fact that how you made this kind of art medium almost like a way of life to what you love.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people realize there's a reason why creative people love what they do, because they really live and breathe their passion. And it's not something that we can kind of describe. You just kind of have to see how we live in the things we really want to showcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, because I spoke earlier that I love collaborations, right?
Yeah.
So, in working with other artists, sometimes I also get very, very engrossed in like what they do. So, like let's say, I I collaborated with animators before, visual artists, and then I got interested in interdisciplinary practice. So basically, using more than one art form uh, to inform your artistic practice. So then I looked at the crossover between dance as an art form and then visual arts as an art form, and then I see how they kind of can find this like middle space, this in between space that when you magnify in this small little space, how does new ideas and creativity or artistic vision, how does that evolve when you look at this crossover? And then I looked at how, or I actually had conversations with my friends that are practicing visual arts, and I was asking them about their craft. Not like, oh, can you show me like your favorite painting, or can you um explain to me like what is this painting about? I asked them more specific question as to what is your first mark on the canvas when you start. What is the context behind it? And then you understand sort of the idea before the movement, and in that sense they also become movement artists because
Yeah.
they are having this dialogue with the pen and the paper and also themselves. So therefore, um if you were to think that movement artists only correlates to dance, it doesn't, right? Because we speak about this whole umbrella. Movement artists is as long as you move, you are an artist, right? If you have a sort of artistic, creative intention as to what you are doing and how you are doing it, you are being very conscious about it. You are a movement artist. Yeah. So I would also say that my friend who is a painter, she's a movement artist as well because she's moving in accordance to her own body language, her own rhythmic pattern in relationship to her campus. Yeah.
That's interesting. And I think you brought a really good insight of how a lot of creatives have a lot of like layers of thought to the stuff that they create. And I think it's just all about showcasing that thought process as much as the work that they showcase. And I think you made a really good point about like how you had a lot of inspirations from like collaboration, cause that's creativity, isn't it? It's like I wouldn't be doing this if I haven't collaborated with so many people. Sorry, I haven't done with you yet. We'll plan one soon. Yeah. But like what's some stuff like that inspire you? What are some things that people that you say like you always look at what people's favorite paintings are. What's your kind of like inspiration source, I guess? How do you get inspired?
I think.
Yeah.
So this is
It's
quite
a,
quite a big one. I need to give you some thought. But
yeah.
hmm,
Cause like I can break down mine as well.
I how to say it? It's very I don't not the term hippie, but a lot of things inspires me. I think ultimately I would say that the works that I want to create speaks about humanity and human connection with each other, or human connection with the space that holds us. So like nature, being um, close to the sea in Falmouth really inspired me, and then being close to natural landscape um, also really allowed me to be very grounded and take the time to breathe and understand who I am as an artist and what artistic vision do I want to bring to my subsequent works. So ideas revolving human connection, connecting with nature, um, doing things that ties in with the community,
Okay.
um, and this idea of doing it in a very tender way, a very gentle way. So um, I like to have audience participate with me in my works, or of audience or two audience or more participating with each other, uh, to allow them to have a time of their own to breathe and listen and tune in to what's happening around them in my work. So a great example would be a piece that I just did. It's titled Here, so HERE, and this came from an internship that I did with um, University of Exeter. So they had this internship program. It's called Creative Together. And then for this project, Falmouth University student, so where I was from, to collaborate with one Exeter student, and I was collaborated with my friend. Um, she studies business and environment, so very very
Yeah.
different. You've got dancing choreography, you've got business and environment, and then this challenge then allows us to understand and sort of provoke each other's craft,
Okay.
because I don't know what she does, and she probably don't understand my use of diction. So then there's this healthy friction that allows
Yes.
us to question each other, challenge each other, and therefore move forward with what we then presented at Grace Wharf Gallery in Penryn. I think that was in July.
That was in July. Just like I'm so sorry. I missed that one. I remembered. I
Oh,
wanted to go as well, but
it's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard very good things about that piece.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, so it more about the work. So the work is titled Here, and the context behind why we did that. So we have this title, this team that all groups had to work with, and that was our starting point. And the team was called Living Systems. So, uh, Isa, my collaborator, Isa and I, we were thinking about what does living system mean to us, and then so we had this like huge mind map, and then to sum up, so she comes from Switzerland, also a fast-paced city like Singapore, and we were very very inspired to create a piece that spoke something about where we came from. So being in fast-paced cities, something that we realized we yearned for was the feeling of connection. Um, because in Falmouth we really had like such a slow paced life, right? Being
Yeah.
like coastal living, right?
Very nice little community village.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and because it's so small, like to get from Falmouth to Penryn is literally what, like a 20 minutes bus or something. So it's such a small community, right? And then you get so much like love and care in this small community. Um, what else? Yeah, so that was the idea that we wanted to bring, this idea of human connection, but without the need for spoken words. And I think that is so important in relationship to what dance is, right? Because dance, we don't have monologues.
Yes.
We use our body as a tool to express our ideas, feelings, emotions, um, and artistic vision. So we came across this word that really encompasses what we intend to speak about. And this word, I might be butchering it because it's in Japanese. It's called Ishin Denshin. And basically, it's the act of heart to heart connection without the need for spoken words. And then that just like just shot an arrow like to my house. Like, wow, this is like something that, holds a lot of thought and gravitas to what we want to do. And so um, we expanded on that idea. And I was a movement artist in that piece. I closed my eyes and I held my hand out, and I invited the audience in the gallery space to come and have make contact with me. And from there, I would lead them in a very gentle, meditative, tender way. And in this movement, what we uncover is this dialogue that does not use words, but it uses feeling and intuition. So I would have to be very conscious about, okay, so now my audience member, I can feel that he is warming up to what this idea is all about. And then I have to be very conscious, okay, as a dancer, as a performer, I need to dial down my energy, my dominant energy, my leading energy, so that he or she, they get a chance to also speak and I respond. So that to me is very powerful. And I want to make more works like that. And I am thinking of actually expanding here, the work here in Singapore. So very excited to see how that unfolds.
Oh, that's very exciting. Cause that's a very, very deep way of like presenting. I'm taken aback a bit because it's like, wow. It's not something I normally experience. That's the thing. It's a art medium that I'm very unfamiliar with, I guess.
Yeah.
Cause anything with this kind of like live action movement is not something I'm able to comprehend at this level yet. Sadly, I'm trying my best, which is why I'm learning from. I think I'm learning a lot from you. But like that kind of connection, that's something. I think it's just
Yeah.
people. You once it's a very hard to say like see it to believe it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I've seen videos of your performances and I've seen the stuff you've done. It's like I kind of wish I was there to see it myself. You know.
I like how you use the term see it to believe it,
Yeah.
because actually I feel that for that work, right? I feel like it's feel it to believe it.
Yeah.
Because
I think.
what you get as a participating audience
Yeah.
versus what you get as a spectating audience is a totally different
Yeah.
energy,
Cause-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You must be doing something really powerful. Cause for when I asked cause we have mutual friends who went to watch your performances, right?
right.
Like they can feel it like from even as an audience, and I was like, I wish I was there in real life.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's. I mean, obviously you talk about your future aspirations and your plans. Hopefully, we get to see a lot of that develop in the future to come. Um, one thing that I think we were talking about this before we started recording was like, what's the kind of like routine work to prepare? Because what people don't realize is being an artist or anyone in the creative industry, there's also a form of like routine that people try and do to improve themselves. Like, I'm an editor. I always like to research different editing styles, look at like different people edit, always, and also like the practice is literally try it yourself because it's so big that you have to kind of like learn from those mistakes and improve. What are some things that you do to like in your own like creative way of like improving or like pushing?
Right.
I guess you call it pushing the boundaries, I guess.
I understand. I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the body first, because the
Yes.
body is our instrument as dancers or movement artists. So because your body is your tool, therefore you always have to condition your body. So by going to dance classes or by going to fitness classes, um, and to always like keep healthy, like nutrition, eating healthy, staying hydrated, and um, going to the gym, doing Pilates, doing yoga, things like that, right? That's conditioning the body. And then second thing that really allowed me to connect my body to like my soul and my mind was when I started this module called experimental anatomy in LaSalle. Uh, and shout out to Susan Sandler. You are an amazing lecturer. You are now based in London, and I wish you all the best. But basically, what it encompasses, right? This module is that it spoke about um, how like when you are, let's say, when I'm moving my arm, normally I just think that, oh, okay, like for this exercise, I'm just gonna move my arm out. But these module allowed me to pinpoint: am I moving from my shoulder girdle, which is your the wing, your like wing, like your back.
Yeah, that one.
So it allows you to think about what precise body part are you using when you are moving. Is it like your shoulder that is leading you? Is it your fingertips that is leading you, or is it your back that is leading you, right? So it allows me to think about, oh my gosh, like I'm not just like moving my body as like a play-doh, right? I have like limbs and like bones and structure in my body. So I became a more sensitive mover, because now I'm thinking about what is initiated, where is the start point. Um, and then that allowed me to have or to develop this greater sense of mind body connection.
Okay.
And this is under somatic practice. So yeah, it was really amazing. Like I cannot stress like how important it is, like mind body mind body relationship as a mover, because then you are able to, while you are moving, you are able to create or have this intentions behind why you are moving. Then it will allow you to see how you are moving. So first we think about, so we scan, right? Like, so normally like what I do is, like before I dance or I improvise, I scan my body and see, okay, like how am I feeling today? And then I do some exercises to ground myself. So, okay, feeling very grounded. Okay, now, um, what are the things that I want to work on today? Or how am I feeling? Am I feeling a bit more calm? Maybe I will do very calming movements to to aid that. Or maybe I'm feeling very spicy. I want to like challenge myself. So then I will do like the complete opposite of like what I normally would do. And then yeah. And then whilst I'm moving, whilst I'm in the moment, right, I'm constantly my body and my mind, they are in constant dialogue and feedback to each other. Yeah. So that to me is super, super, super important as a movement artist. Yeah.
This sounds a really dumb question. Like, have you ever had like a spontaneous moment where you just like, I just did something that's very different, like out
Yes,
of nowhere?
yes. Yeah, so many, right? I think
Yeah.
Once you get into that state of flow, that flow state,
Yeah.
you this like I know this like thinking like buffering thing as you are moving, it sounds very like much. But then as you keep on practicing it, it becomes very second nature to you. Because it's not that you are thinking of okay, what I want to do, like in a very how to say, in a very like rigid way.
Yeah.
It's more like um you are having your own dialogue with your body, right? So it's very malleable because you can also decide whether you want to listen or you don't want to listen, or you
Okay.
want more or you want to give less. That sort of thing. So yeah, did I go off tangent? Well, oh my
No.
god, what were we speaking about?
I was on the. It was like, I think it makes sense because you're talking about how like sometimes something spontaneous just happens and you like don't realize it as well.
Talking about that, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then because you are so like in tune with your body,
Yeah.
right? And um after like practicing this, you get more comfortable with it, and then you just let your body go. So I call it like a conscious unconscious or conscious subconscious state of mind,
Yes.
where I know yes, my body is aware and I'm controlling like how much energy I want to give, but at the same time I'm also allowing my creativity to flow. So responding very intuitively and feelings feelingsly. So as responding very with feelings based and also intuitively what needs to happen in the space, or how can I like suddenly respond to this music that I never hear before,
Okay.
or yeah, or like oh there's someone like dancing around me, like maybe I can like do something completely opposite to the person, things like that. So it becomes very fun now because
Okay.
yeah, plus once you understand your own body as
Yeah.
a way of being, then you can start to explore or unpack how can I form a relationship with you, or how can I form a relationship with music or the space, or like very, very like a whole host of dynamics becomes a palette for you to play
I think I can kind of at least relate to that one.
with.
Especially when
Yeah.
I listen to music, I always like to think, how would you do a music video? How would it look like? It's a kind of connection, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just very interesting and very, very, if it's like a very cool sacred immersion with what's around you.
Oh yes, it is. It is actually. Mm.
I'm quite jealous how you can be so. It's like both peaceful and chaotic at the same time. You can be in that space.
Yes,
I love
it
it.
is a lot of practice. A
Yeah.
lot of here, but yeah.
Oh, that's any like stories you like to share about like that you want to tell. I know like you say you read books to keep inspired, creativity. You have like all your, I guess your travels and experience because you've done quite a lot.
Travel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we talk about books first.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah.
magically, boom. Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Don't
was
worry.
traveling with Isa, my collaborator from Switzerland. And we went to this massive library. I'm sorry, I don't know the name, and I just know that it's a library in Copenhagen, which is really great. Okay.
Okay.
And then in that library, they sell like many of these like tiny little books, and this book is creativity, but they you cannot really see the end bit lah. And I am also not going to butcher the author's name, so I'm just gonna do a shameless plug like this for this person. And basically, this book it unpacks creativity, what it means, what it can mean, what it involves, and they use uh artists like Van Gogh that we know of as a case study, sort of. And I don't know how else to say how much I love this book, but you can try and get it if you can get in. If not, a flight to Copenhagen to get it. Then another book that I haven't really started yet. I started a little bit, like just the very beginning. This book, okay? This is called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And I'm just gonna read a little bit, okay, from where I already read, okay? So in the first chapter, it says everyone is a creator, right? And then this kind of how to say, it kind of contradicts, right? When people, like, you know, Winston, you were telling me, when people sort of say like, oh, like you must be very talented to be an artist, or you must be very talented, blah blah blah. Then there's this whole idea of like the exclusive thinking. But I want to promote this idea that, or we were talking about this, we want to promote this idea that everyone is creative in their own way. And
Yeah.
how do we get to explore their creativity? And that's something for each of us to investigate for ourselves, right? So this book, back to this book, it says that creativity doesn't exclusively relate to making art. We all engage in this act on a daily basis. To create is to bring something into existence that wasn't there before. It could be a conversation, a solution to a problem, a note to a friend, the rearrangement of furniture in a room, and a new route to back home to avoid traffic jam. That to me was like, whoa. So yeah, so it just offers the reader a different way of thinking, and I think that is very powerful because it gives us a different lens from a different viewpoint, right? And then this author also mentioned, like, whatever that I write here, you can take it as such or you can not, because this is obviously solely his own ideology, right?
Yeah.
So he said, nothing in this book is known to be true. It's a reflection on what I've noticed, not facts so much as thoughts. Some ideas may resonate, others may not. A few may awaken an inner knowing you forgot you had. Use what's useful, let go of the rest. Yeah. And then the last paragraph is, each of these moments is an invitation to further inquiry, looking deeper, zooming out or in, opening possibilities for a new way of being. Therefore, a new way of being. And then it's great because the chapters, right, it speaks about, I don't know how many, but it speaks about 78 areas of thought. Look. So so the first one was everyone is a creator. Then you've got tuning in, nature as teacher, looking inwards, memories and the subconscious. These are some self-doubt, collaboration, intention. So and
I love that.
I don't have any commission to these two books, okay? I just really think that they are great.
I love that so much.
Yeah. Okay.
That's more advanced than my picture books I like to look at.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, I love looking at pictures because they give me a different thought. So, and I think that's my creative aspect. But I think the more I've been speaking to like you, aspect of creative, you guys have also like opened up a lot more for me to unpack about like thoughts in creativity.
Yeah, that's what I love.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I guess sorry to interrupt you, but that is what I love about collaborating with people of like not in the same field as me.
Yeah.
I was like, to me, I would think that like, you will understand my diction, but then sometimes I neglect or I fail to realize that no, different art forms have their own diction, their own methodologies that they use, And then when I collaborate with them, then I will be like, whoa, so this is your own dictionary of words that you use, and this is your own palette of ideas that are part of your skill sets and something like that. And then it becomes very interdisciplinary in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, even some people in the same field have different methodologies.
Because
And that brings like another rabbit hole of like so many things to take in, right? Yeah, you got me thinking a lot. Now I think, cause my dad does like finance, and how he does Excel sheets is his own art form, I think. Cause how he does it, I would never know what in the work he's been doing. He's like, oh, I just do it like this.
yeah.
Or how my mom just randomly cooks from any leftover ingredients. Like,
Yeah,
I love
right?
your cooking, and you're like, where did this come from? I was like, cause she never goes like, I'm gonna cook this. I'm like, let's see. I'll just put this. Let me try this. Let me do that. Still delicious.
Precisely.
Wow.
And that is creativity, right? To create something from nothing.
Yeah.
So your mom is negotiating, okay, what are the
Yeah.
tools that she has, which is her ingredients, like what are the tools that she
Yeah.
has, what can she experiment in
Yeah.
experimentation.
And it's also like, what I'm feeling today.
Yeah,
It's like, wow.
yeah. Art, the art of
Yeah.
cooking.
My most chaotic one is me thinking of pranks to do to my sister. I think that's the best. Sorry, Joanne.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all the questions I have. And if there's any like things you want to share to the viewers watching, is there any like lasting words? Or
Follow me on my Instagram.
I will tag Joern's Instagram as well. But yeah, do you have any questions for me and stuff? Do you have, we have I always like try to leave this open to like chats as well, because I think we're all considered like friends as well and buddies, and I try to be like friendly with every guest.
Yeah. My question to you, let me think.
Wow.
I want to ask, okay, I'm not gonna give you a very hard one, but I'm gonna
Nice, you can ask.
okay, did you have a rough expectation or a rough answer as to what movement artist meant to you before my sharing?
I think kind of a cheat, because I know I've been talking to you beforehand, but knowing that it has something to do with movement, and obviously seeing, like, following you on Instagram, seeing the stuff you do, there's a form of like, this sounds really weird, there's a form of like Zen element I've felt that you can see, and it's just something that I myself could never describe, because I I love to do post production. I'm in the field of media and technology. It's very like tech stuff, a bit of creativity, but it's like most of the time when we do stuff like this, we tend to not be on set sometimes. So you see editors trying to create stories, but they would not be on set. They wouldn't know what happened. It's always about telling that story. So it's more of like just, I'm like very open to knowing how movement artist is. There's a lot of like thing that I found about these kind of art forms, especially in dance, when I speak to dancers. There's a lot of things that happen not only behind the scenes to prepare, but consciously between mind and body that I probably would not have touched. So that was just something I was like, I'm more curious to unpack. It's something to do with movement, that was all I know, but I was more like mentally ready to like, ooh, what is this conscious thing? Cause I've met directors who sometimes have thoughts of how they make a film, like their thought process, where there's always a lot of planning, there's a lot of editing, because there's that practical thing that we have to plan a film sometimes. Sometimes we don't have to, it's spontaneous, sometimes we have to like prepare, because that's just how it is. We need to organize timings of people, crew. But when you can do something very spontaneous like that, sometimes I was like, I want to know what happens. It's quite a long answer, but I was like, I am genuinely curious, because like I've mentioned to people, doing this podcast, A.I.R is just something creativity, like I want to share what so many people do. And I love how you mentioned collaboration, because I would have never ever thought of this without ever collaborating with so many people and learning so much from them that I would also love to share my experience working with them and their stories of working with everyone else as well. Yeah,
I think
that may be the deepest answer.
sorry. Yeah.
No,
But I feel like you're doing is really good, Winston. Like
yeah,
bringing people together, and I feel like they as artists, they deserve all the means to be heard, right? Because they are passionate about what they do, and ultimately, I feel that as artists, we want to make a better place for our world. Oh my god, wait, let me pull up this quote, okay? So I went I went to this talk, right? And then let me see if I have it on my phone with you. Okay. So um it says that the arts are not a way to make a living. They are a human way, they are a very human way of making life more bearable. Practicing an art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow. And this is a quote from Kurt Vonnegut. I'm sorry, I might be butchering the name, but it's Kurt, like Kurt, and then space Vonnegut. Yeah. So I was like, wow, this is very thought provoking to me, because yeah, like it's something that is so like I don't want to have the word for it, but it's like so.
mm, yeah. I think that's a very thoughtful like quote, and I didn't realize how it's so inspiring to do stuff like that. I think I don't know if you like. I used to. There was a story where I went to the US and I went to like a few different parks around when I traveled. I used to buy like just nature books, and nature poetry books, like just quotes of like nature. It sounds really weird, but it's like
No,
kind. It makes you feel that you're there,
yeah, yeah,
and I like picture books, but it's always very nice because you get to see. I wouldn't say pictures, but I get inspired by colors. I like to see how people do it, and I like to see their story of how they approach things as well. And honestly, if anyone ever wants to try like be creative, just give it a try. And I'm trying to hope that if anyone watches, just like go for it, because what you realize is when we meet these people, people will want to help you, and we like to help each other. So don't be afraid, even if it's a totally different aspect. Cause I've worked with my like Joern's mutual friend as well, came out of nowhere. Things like that just happen, and it's like you're gonna enjoy it. Like doesn't have to be a career. It could just be like what you want to do in your daily life or hobby. But honestly, try it.
yeah. Because there is no right or wrong in art. Just do what you like.
Just thoughts,
Yeah, just talk.
thoughts and feelings. But yeah, but that's I think all the time we have here. Thank you so much, Joern, for joining, being a really nice guest all the way from Singapore.
Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, and of course, if you guys have any questions, drop a comment, reach out. We'll get those questions answered, and of course, I'll link Joern's socials on the description below as well. So yeah, thank you for this episode. Bye.